All right, so we're discussing the story behind Kingdom Hearts 3. I have my beautiful wife here, wife.
Hi.
and our special guest, Mick.
Hi, how are you doing?
Great, how are you?
I'm fantastic.
All right, so we mainly want to discuss the terrible...
Lewis, when you say story, quotation marks, story of Kingdom Hearts.
We mainly want to discuss the horrible choices and where they decided to go with the story, and what worked and what didn't, all that. And I guess we'll go over some gameplay mechanics as well, because why not? We're here, may as well. So, who wants to start this off?
Where do you even start?
It was just disappointing.
Oh my god.
Well, we can go into the gameplay here. Starting out in the very beginning of this game, I'm like, all right, cool. Same basic Kingdom Hearts gameplay. That's fine. I came here because it's flashy, not because it's complicated. Then we get to Toy Story World, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they have the mech battle gimmick. And I already knew that later on in Pirates of the Caribbean, you have your ship battle gimmick. And I'm thinking immediately, awesome, we get a gimmick for every world. I was sorely mistaken.
Yeah, that was wildly inconsistent, because I loved the mech element of it.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was a ton of fun. It was creative. And I really loved the final boss on the Toy Story World.
It was unique.
Yeah,
and
it was
fun.
very unique. I remember playing it and being like, wow, I've never fought a boss like this in a video game. It's so wild. And it really took advantage of the setting of the world and made it feel like a Kingdom Hearts game. I really love that element of it. And I felt like Toy Story was where the game started to pick up again. Because up until that point, I was not happy.
It dragged in Olympus.
It dragged in Olympus. Olympus was awful, which is sad because Olympus, the other two Olympuses were phenomenal.
And
they didn't even bring back the best part of Olympus, which is the Colosseum battles.
Oh, yeah.
The Olympus has always been bread and butter. Here's your arena. They expanded upon it a bit in 2, but not a whole lot.
Yep.
Still, there's your arena. Have fun. Kill stuff.
I enjoyed watching you play it, though. I mean...
Yeah, well, you didn't have to play it.
That's fair. But it was more appealing to watch you go through... I thought it was interesting to expand upon, the other parts of Olympus with the regular people. I love the NPCs. Yeah. That was exciting.
That's actually a welcome change from the older games. You would go into the arena in Olympus before, and there's a full stand of audience that's cheering, but nobody's there.
Sure.
But they flooded this game with NPCs, and I can appreciate that.
Yeah, it branched out and expanded on the world.
Yeah.
Which is fine. My issue really came down to early on in the game, especially with the animation of the characters. Hercules looks like he's made of plastic.
Yeah.
Yes.
The animation, and I was talking to someone about this, and they said what they think, or what they heard, was the first couple worlds were made for the PS3. Mm-hmm. When the game originally got started making, and before they all got pulled off the staff to work on whichever Final Fantasy game they got pulled off to work on. And so they just decided to keep the original design and all that, and just transfer it on to the PS4. Because when you look at Olympus, and you compare it to Pirates of the Caribbean, it's like two completely different games.
Yeah.
Because the animation in Pirates of the Caribbean is gorgeous. It looks so good.
I blame that largely on the engine switch they had to do in the middle of it.
Exactly. But it doesn't start you off well. It puts you in a bad mood from the beginning, which I think really hurt a lot going forward.
Yeah.
Because my initial reactions to the game were just like, oof, this combat. It felt a little bit like... I didn't like... at first, I didn't like the rides.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
It's such a... everything else, every other combat kind of thing in Kingdom Hearts has a reason and a connection to the story.
Yeah.
The rides are just, hey, we're Disney!
Disneyland rides!
We know you're Disney. There's no context or reason for these rides, as gorgeous as they look. Why are they in the game?
You said at first you didn't like them. Does that mean you liked them later?
Once I realized I could spam it, yes.
Now,
if I could start it and then turn it off, okay, cool. But they kept getting in the way of my other attacks, which I hated.
Now, we differ there some. I grew to like the attractions very early on, and then... as I'm trying to build up a good old Blizzaza spell.
Yep.
Oops, I hit the fucking blaster ride or whatever, and I didn't want to do that. And now this is a waste of my time.
Stacked. Yeah, that stack was horrible. It throws off your flow. It just... I don't know why you wouldn't do what you did with the old games and just have you be able to switch to them or something, but have them all stacked that way was just so super confusing.
Birth by Sleep had the best combat. Fight me on this.
I won't. Yeah. I'll give you that one. But like, I don't know. Combat overall, like one of the things I'll give it credit for, I loved the fact that I could have multiple Keyblades equipped and just switch through them.
That was
love
cool.
that. I love the Keyblade transformations. I thought those were really cool.
Yeah.
And how they leveled up the farther into combat you got, and how each of them had different variations to spells and all that. All of that was gorgeous and a ton of fun.
So I liked the style changes. I liked them better in Birth by Sleep because they weren't locked to whatever Keyblade. But fine, whatever, I got over that. But I did have a debate with someone. I don't know if I ever did it on the channel or not. Or a comparison, rather. That Kingdom Hearts was becoming Bleach. And they're like, oh, do the Keyblades have a Shikai or Bankai form? And I'm like, no. And then Kingdom Hearts 3 came out.
Well, actually.
And I felt so much more justified.
No,
someone designing working on Kingdom Hearts 3 heard them like, hey, that's not a bad idea.
There you go.
Out with the zippers and in with the plaid and Bleach references.
Gosh, can we talk about those?
So much plaid.
That was one of the things I included on my Facebook post. I'm pretty sure it was like
Plaid.
It's like Tetsuya Nomura got rid of the zippers. It's like, you know what's real great though?
Plaid. Everyone needs it.
Yes, I love checkers.
I don't. It does not make a difference to me, but it was just so wild. It was. Where did this come from? Like, is there some in-lore reason for this?
I don't know.
Even know. Like,
fashion trends.
Yeah, it was.
Axel was resisting it so hard till the end.
He was fighting it.
He's like, I refuse to wear plaid until this job is
I'll stick
done.
with my leather
I
and my
actually wanted to
chains.
see him change his outfit too, though, which was funny. Like as Gertie said, I was like, okay, I'm cool. Well, let's see Axel in a different outfit.
No, a big spooky cloak.
I did really like how he insists on being called Axel. I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, is that a nod to the fans? Because I'm calling him Axel. I'm not calling him Lee.
It's like
That man is Axel.
they wrote the character to know that the audience loved him.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
And-
I mean, that's why he got a Keyblade.
Yeah.
He was aware.
Right? Like, everyone...
He could have kept his chakrams. He ended up
could have.
being wasted anyway.
I mean...
They did not utilize him at
They,
all.
oh my god. He was, like I was talking about this earlier, he was one of the best characters in Kingdom Hearts 3. He's one of the best characters in Kingdom Hearts overall.
Oh, yeah.
But as far as, like, writing goes, he was the only character that didn't make me groan
Yeah.
or sigh every time he spoke. He actually had charisma. He actually had lines that were something other than lightness, heart, darkness.
Yeah.
Granted, half of them were about Roxas, but like there was passion to his character.
Yeah.
There
And
was
he
a sense of humor to his
And
character.
he actually
felt
had development, too.
Exactly.
Like,
And
he went through changes throughout the different games. And even in each game, you saw him go through those different emotions and different stages of what he was going through.
Yeah.
Whereas
Kingdom
other
Hearts 2? Oh my
characters,
gosh.
Kyrie didn't have any development at all.
Flatwood board
my
the
word.
entire series.
Oh my word. Yeah, Kyrie who gets built up as like
And-
I thought after Kingdom Hearts 2, I'm like, wow, Kyrie's going to be unstoppable. She's
gonna be a
grown so
badass,
much as a
but-
character.
Kingdom Hearts 2,
She's
it's
so
like
cool. She got a Keyblade.
it's like let's give this Princess of Heart a Keyblade, and oh boy, we'll explore that in the next game. And then 8 games later, we don't do anything with it.
No.
I mean, and they even do it in 3, is they build her up, and she spends the entire game training with Axel.
So you think, oh,
In a place that's time proof,
Right?
we'll get on the time travel later.
oh
Are
god,
we
They
Dragon
broke
Ball
their
Z
own
now?
rules.
Is it hyperbolic shape? Is that what's going on?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I can deal with that. But then we get to the final battle, and right before she's, all right, don't worry, Sora, I'm gonna protect you. Let me do the fight this time.
Immediately loses.
useless.
She
Just
doesn't
useless.
do a thing. She doesn't do a thing.
She
No,
she
I
smacks
never
around a Heartless or two.
Right? They don't even give us the courtesy of a link attack with her.
No.
No, that would have been cool.
I went into that final battle like, we got everyone. Let me do link attacks with everybody.
Yes.
No.
The only characters I cared about also, Terra, Aqua, and Ventus after Birth by Sleep, my favorite one, just barely got any play either.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah. And I mean, in terms of story, that's another thing to address is, so, before I lose it, I have, hello, cat. I'm allergic to you. You're getting off me. Whoop. Sorry. So Shion, right?
Yeah.
Shion and Namine and Roxas.
Oh god, yeah.
How do they exist?
Exactly.
Because the whole point of Kingdom Hearts 2 was Namine and Roxas, you're both parts of other people, and we need to put you back for those people to exist.
Roxas, I can get a little bit because
He's sort of a combination of Sora and Ventus.
yeah,
Kind
Yeah.
of.
Only kind of, though.
Only kind of, though.
How he can exist physically,
they
they explain that. They made a vessel for him.
Right.
Shion, I don't get.
No, she shouldn't have been able to just be in existence again. That doesn't make any sense.
If it's a vessel thing, have we discovered how to create souls now?
I mean, and the whole thing at the end of Kingdom Hearts 2 was, they're like, Nami and Roxas, we could be together because Sora and Kairi are together. Because we're both parts of them. Mm-hmm. We are a part of a whole. So that's how we're together. And that's like a big moment that's so great in the second Kingdom Hearts game. And then it's just like, no, we've got vessels, so I don't understand. And they don't really give any explanation.
They just retconned it so they could exist again.
Yeah, we love these characters. They can exist.
Nami and Roxas are at peace now. They're together because we're together. Yay! What? You've made vessels? I mean, they're sad now.
Oh no, I want to exist again.
Oh my gosh, it's just...
I was...
How are there no consequences for Sora when Roxas is separated from him?
Yeah, really. And I was so disappointed with how... it wasn't Ventus, but how Roxas just came about. There was this big build-up about, you have to learn the power of waking, Sora. You have to do this big thing, Sora. We're going to spend the entire game kicking around until we find out what you need to do. And then, hi, I'm back.
I didn't figure it out, guys. Is that okay? Yeah, sure. Just go to the final fight. Who cares? Whatever.
It was so disappointing. I was expecting this beautiful just way of showing how he came about, and then he was like, I'm here again. I'm like, what? How? That doesn't make any sense.
To be fair, he did figure out the power of waking.
Why did he lose it in the first place?
Because Metroid. Super Metroid.
Because Super Metroid.
Like, when you're going to create a story, and this is coming from me as a writer, you don't go back. Right?
Yeah.
When you're creating a story, it's a path you have to follow. And if you're going to go back, it has to be done very carefully and in a way that builds up going forward.
Yeah.
We start out Kingdom Hearts 3, and Sora has just lost his powers. He's not as strong anymore, and he doesn't understand why. And that's just lazy.
Yeah.
You give us a reason or something? Sure, I'll work with you.
Yeah.
But there's no reason ever given.
Hey guys, in Dream Drop Distance, this is Jensen speaking. Hey, in Dream Drop Distance, when you failed that test, you failed so hard that you lost like 9 million experience points, my dude.
He went back to Kingdom Hearts 1.
Like,
you are level 1 again, and everyone else is level 3 or 400 by now.
I think it would have been interesting to kind of incorporate Maleficent and Pete with the plot of Sora losing his powers.
We'll get on them later.
Somehow having them be a part of it and explaining why Sora lost his powers. Give me something, a reason why this actually happened.
Right, because... it's so obvious they're doing it because, well, it's the beginning of the game. He has to level up.
It's something they didn't need to do.
That.
No,
you can place limiters and you can make things look a certain way without ruining the character.
They've always started them out at level 1, and we as gamers understand that. That's a thing you have to do because there needs to be progression.
Yeah,
exactly.
Just don't say, Sora got super weak, guys. He can't do anything anymore.
Right? Like,
don't. We know. It's fine.
In the beginning of Kingdom Hearts 2, we started off at level 1 and didn't have all of our fun special abilities. We had to level up and get all that again, but they didn't say, Sora, you've... Yeah.
Which I loved.
That was so much fun.
The opening for Kingdom Hearts 2, that prologue world is a blast.
Oh, I spend more time on that than any other world on that.
It's so much fun, and we didn't have, like, the heart that existed there, which is ironic, considering it's called Kingdom Hearts in this game.
Yeah.
Kingdom Heartless, for
for real. It's, oh my gosh, there's just so much.
I can't think of my next point, but...
Where do you go? There's just so much to talk about.
Exactly.
Like, the worlds were... There were some cool mechanics in different worlds, but one thing that the original Kingdom Hearts did is very rarely did you just get the cut-by-cut original Disney story.
Exactly, and that made it feel fresh and like a whole different experience.
Exactly.
I hated that we had to sit through the whole gosh darn singing.
Let's focus on the world for a second. Let's break each one down.
Okay.
Olympus, kind of boring, but I'm glad they expanded on the area. Toy Story was refreshing.
Toy Story was great.
That
worked
was so much fun.
hard on Toy Story.
Mm-hmm.
One qualm with Toy Story.
Yeah.
The story element of it.
Well, yeah, it was a little...
Explain the fake world.
No, I refuse to explain that.
That didn't make... Why can't you just be in the Toy Story world? Why does it have to be a copy world?
I don't understand.
What?
I'm fine with the copy world. It's stupid, but at least they didn't decide to rehash the story of Toy Story.
Okay, that's fair. But
you don't have to. You don't have to make a copy world to do that. No. They've done it with pretty much every game.
Yeah, that's fair.
There's you could even focus on a different, like, there's so much potential within that world that you're putting a character who travels to different worlds, right?
Yeah.
Sora just travels to different worlds. He's all this kind of crazy stuff.
He just doesn't care.
Yep.
You're putting him in a world where he's a toy.
Yeah.
Explore that.
Like,
think of the character growth and the realization of having to come to grips with that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you're 100% right there.
And Sora's all down for just accepting things, but maybe give him a little bit of a pause to think about the context of what's happening.
I'm an inanimate object, but not what in the world.
They put him in a video game too.
Oh my god. Okay.
Worlds within worlds within worlds. We're in Inception now.
They did that with Monstro.
Oh lord. Technically.
Yeah. But moving on from Toy Story World, we go to, I think Tangled World is next in that list. That's when the cracks started to show in terms of how they crafted their story for reals.
It was visually, I enjoyed watching you play it.
That world was well developed, map-wise, and it was fun.
I really enjoyed playing it for 100%.
That one was fun.
That was one of the better worlds, and I love the Keyblade.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
that's great.
Favorite Keyblades.
Storyline, though, in that world, that's when things started to become, man, I hope you watch this movie, because we're going to start spoiling some things that you may need to have seen the movie for.
You hadn't seen the movie, but I had.
I didn't know that.
Well, now you don't need to.
Yeah. I didn't know that what's his name was going under a fake name, and so when they're like Eugene or whatever, I'm like, who?
Yeah.
They never explain. It's like they want to just shove all the cutscenes that they can from the movies, but they don't want to actually let it tell you the actual story.
Yeah.
Or be original and give you this world, these characters, and a whole different experience.
They built Rapunzel up as this big thing, and there was zero payoff with that.
If you want to go back and replay around in that world, I hope you didn't like Rapunzel as a character or the Link attack that they had, because you don't get it anymore.
I was so disappointed about that. I'm like, hey, I wonder what she's going to do now that her hair's cut. Oh, she's not going to be playable anymore? That's stupid.
Her golden hair is equipped in her weapon slot. What happens at the end when she cuts it?
Give her the frying pan.
Exactly.
She knows how to use that.
I'm sure she's got another
No,
one.
Finn's got that.
Finn's,
or Eugene, or whatever. I don't know.
She has it in the movie, so it's like
there's
no reason not to have it.
She uses it more in the movie than he does.
And I really, they hint at things in that world that could have been so cool to flesh out more. Like the mom and the darkness and the potential there, and they just hint at little things, but they don't ever go into it.
No,
it's a waste.
It also became a hint at what was going on with storyline stuff for me. We had in Olympus, we ran into Maleficent. I don't think we ran into any of the organization people, no. But very, very minor interaction with Maleficent, fine, whatever, at the beginning of the game. Toy Story, we run into young Xehanort. I understand not fighting him, because we're depowered, but whatever. Tangled, we run into Marluxia. I'm like, all right, we're going to get our first organization fight here.
Yeah.
When is it? No? We're done? Oh, never mind then.
We're just going to fight everyone at the end and never before.
Very disappointing.
Pissed me off so much.
Yeah.
I'm there for my big anime fights.
Yeah.
Don't shove them all in the end and make the ending feel rushed.
And the bosses felt weird too, because you're starting off with bosses who have like 12 health bars.
Yeah.
Which is something you expect like at the end of the game, and you just tear through them. Mm-hmm. You know, so like the difficulty level and stuff, I can get over. I play on normal because I want to go through it and I want to have a good time. I don't play on easy. But like the boss is just like, what's the point of them having 12 health bars? There's no scaling up.
No.
You just start out.
Ruins progression. It's your DBZ progression shit ruined all over again.
It doesn't get progressively harder as the game goes on. You're just like, oh, it's another boss with 12 health bars. How is this different from what I fought in the second world? You know, I don't feel like the threat has increased.
Yeah.
No, it's just another boss, different face.
Yeah. And that just speaks more to its poor difficulty in general. I slept through the entire game. I noticed, like, towards Pirates of the Caribbean world, whichever one was before Keyblade Graveyard, that I equipped no armor.
Yeah.
And one accessory. I'm like, hey, I should be working with this more. But no. And then it just throws it all, the difficulty spikes way high when you get to the graveyard. Monstropolis was fun.
Monstropolis I enjoyed.
That was fun.
We got a unique costume, which there weren't enough of in this game.
Yeah, we got a unique costume
and a unique story.
We're fresh off getting the Tangled Keyblade, and that one was really fun. The whole world itself was pretty fleshed out. You got Vanitas coming in, you're like, and you still think, I can still get my battle here.
I'm gonna get a fight.
I can still get my big anime fight. Yep. They didn't, but I excuse it because the way they get rid of him is hilarious.
I mean, I love Sully just teleporting behind Vanitas and throwing him to 6 different that door after door after door. That was so good.
That made the whole
we got the unique
it.
story, and it picked up like after the original Monsters Inc.
Yes,
and got all that. That was cool. We got to see the bad guy from that coming back and playing into things. It was great. The interactions were great. The link attacks were great. I had zero complaints because it felt like a Kingdom Hearts world and a Kingdom Hearts game.
It was probably developed right alongside Toy Story, way in the early days when they had time to get it out.
And every world wasn't just, let's fight a whole bunch of a bunch of Heartless.
Boss fight cutscene, boss fight cutscene.
Yeah, exactly. There was actually different elements that you got to interact with and entertain yourself with as you were going throughout the world.
From here on in the worlds is when it really starts to show that they were running out of time.
Yeah.
Because Frozen happened, and Frozen was terrible.
That one was. It was boring to watch. It was boring to.
Yeah.
Because
I hope you like going up this mountain for the third time.
I'll be honest.
Purely observational.
Like, for real, though. How many times?
God.
It's like you get there cutscene. We gotta go back up the mountain.
And nothing got accomplished.
I'm sorry?
You go down the mountain a third time, it's like, let's not go back up, guys.
Finding the stupid Olaf parts, that was the most irritating, stupid, monotonous task we've ever had to do in those stupid games. I was so mad.
Yeah, it's just... Where do you even begin? You have a cool element, again, to work with, right?
Oh, yeah, they could have done
so
much.
The Sora relation with Elsa would have been... I was like, okay, I can't stand Frozen because it's just so overdone. I liked it when it first came out.
Yeah.
I'm not denying it's a good movie, but it's just so overdone in your face.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I thought about it. I was like, I'm legitimately looking forward to Sora and Elsa's conversation and interaction and how you can change it from how it was in the movie. Because you've got two people with these unique abilities, and Sora's the perfect person to come in and talk to Elsa when she's struggling with that.
Oh, yeah. Like, I think it would have been really cool to have a little mini boss fight against Elsa.
No, Snow Golem, shut up.
Anything. There's just the interaction could have gone so many different ways, but the presence of Sora and the rest of them has no impact on the story whatsoever.
No.
I skipped every single cutscene in that world after the first one. I was like, this is just the movie.
Yep.
I don't want to watch her sing.
It was also one of those.
Song.
You get to the end and you see what's his name, Hans?
Hans, yeah.
Doing his evil stuff. It's like, who's this guy? I've never seen the movie.
Out of nowhere. It didn't make any sense. And then it's hinting like he's got this weird darkness about him. And guess what? We don't explore.
How did that happen?
Yeah,
how does that affect? How does that affect?
Other than that was Larkstein doing her thing.
Again, another missed opportunity.
We can safely assume it was Larkstein, but give us something. Give us some kind of interaction.
Yeah, I like Larkstein, and she was another character that they actually seemed like herself.
Yeah,
she did her thing. She was obnoxious and all that good stuff.
As she should be.
Her relation with Marluxia and stuff. And there's another point. What happened to Marluxia trying to overthrow Xehanort that they set up halfway through the game?
Well, to be fair, he was still trying to do that. He just was being sneakier about it. But so sneaky that the audience wasn't able to tell unless they listened hard enough.
Yeah, did that even get fleshed out in the end?
No,
I
completely
forgot about that plot point at the
end
of the game.
Hell yeah, Marluxia's gonna do another coup. Yes, this is what I'm here for.
Why would you trust him again, Xehanort? No, shut up. You don't know what you're talking about.
He's got a part of Xehanort in him. That's cool. He's still Marluxia. He's still gonna try to mess things up.
Yep.
And then it never happened.
No.
Yeah.
It just dropped it.
It didn't go anywhere.
Oh, it's okay. We'll just kill him later. So I didn't do 100 Acre Wood too much. I did the first mini game. I'm like, we got mobile games going in. I'll just continue with the game. Who cares?
Oh my word! Okay.
Did you progress through that world?
I played the whole thing.
I'm sorry then.
Oh, buddy.
It was all mobile games, right?
I love Kingdom Hearts. I love Winnie the Pooh and Kingdom Hearts. It's just so much fun. I grew up on Winnie the Pooh. It's like one of my favorite things. Just I've seen all the movies in theaters because they're fun. The humor in them is so intelligent and not your typical modern children's thing. It's actually clever, forces you to think.
It's actually entertaining.
It's entertaining, and all the characters are phenomenal. And mini games in the first two Kingdom Hearts
they're fun.
They're all so unique and they're so much fun. And this is literally just I don't know the name of it, but I've seen it on people play it. It's a mobile game.
Yeah,
and you do it 4 times.
It's
not
exactly Candy Crush.
It's basically
Bejeweled
Candy
Candy
It's
Crush.
basically
one of
Candy
those
Crush.
Drop down things, line them up.
Yeah.
Things.
They didn't even change the type of mini game you play.
No.
That's so.
That's
lame.
hilarious.
One time, cool. Yes, that's what Winnie the
Yeah,
Pooh's
like,
like.
okay,
but
that's
you do
fine.
the same thing with a slight variation in the characters and like some
It's
special
like,
move.
oh, Piglet needs you to help him with something. Let's
Yeah.
do this mobile app game.
Bruh, turn it
Tigger
to
needs
the
help
book.
with something.
If you're
Mobile
gonna
app
throw
game.
in Candy Crush, fine,
Yeah.
whatever.
All you
put
do
in
is-
Snake too.
You're in Rabbit's Garden.
Yeah.
You don't go anywhere
Exactly.
from there. You just stay in Rabbit's Garden. You don't get to explore the other parts of the book.
Really?
No,
That's so disappointing.
That's hilarious.
it's pathetic.
That's
It's like
not
they just
Winnie the
included
Pooh.
it because they're like, well, we gotta include Winnie the Pooh, right? But like, there's no progress. Like
Oh god.
in the second one, there was progress, right?
There's an actual
Everyone's
story.
forgotten.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Sora's heartbroken about it, and you feel emotions for these characters
Oh,
because
I
you're like,
cried.
Pooh
Oh,
Bear's
yeah.
forgotten about Sora. We're trying to help him get his memories back. And I feel like I can't even remember. I feel like they started to set something up was happening, and then I don't remember anything getting fleshed out or explored with it.
They never remembered him. I never finished that one.
In
did
the
eventually.
original, in 2,
In 3, did they?
I don't remember.
Oh man,
That's how little impact there was. I don't remember how it
think
resolved
there was
itself.
any storyline.
I
There
other
was,
than,
there was like this weird, like, my friends are missing or something, but then they show up and
yeah.
I
When
don't
I
remember
when I
what the story was for this
when I went
game.
back and replayed 2 for getting hyped up for 3. Once I got to 100 Acre Woods, I go
Yeah.
in there, time freezes, I get kicked out. I'm like, all right, I'm never going back here again. And
Yeah,
then I just went on with the game.
Exactly, and that was another thing about the Winnie the Pooh one is you kept going back every time you found a page. Like you
Yeah.
got to progress the story. It's something
Yeah.
to come back to,
It was fun. You
I was
wanted
in
to
and
know what
out.
was happening.
and that was it.
Yeah.
There was nothing. It didn't stick with you at all.
for such a
And they
short
included this little elephant.
for such a short segment in this game, we have talked about it more than any of the other worlds.
I mean, right? But that's how impactful it was, and that's like we didn't bring back enough worlds.
No, oh god, they missed so many
there were
opportunities to
fewer-
expand on others.
Yeah, there were fewer worlds in this than any other Kingdom Hearts game, as far as I can tell.
Speaking
As far as I
of
remember.
segues, we did get the Caribbean.
We
We-
did bring back
we
Caribbean.
did.
We brought back the
we
Caribbean.
did.
That I thought was going place. I knew the ship battles were in there, and I was looking forward to that. So we get into the world, we do whatever chase down the Black Pearl thing, we play a little bit on the ship, then we lose the ship. We're on we're on a deserted island. We're exploring the deserted island. Well designed. I'll give it that. Beautiful. Mwah.
Set pieces for everything were phenomenal.
Yeah.
They were.
Pretty
They
much.
were.
We get our ship. We go back to Port Royal. We chase down 300 white crabs, and we don't allow you to save, even though you're desperately trying to go to sleep.
Oh god.
Yeah.
You do that, and then they rush you off to the final battle of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
And that was another world where it was basically cutscene for the movie, cutscene for the movie.
Yep.
And
If you had
have
no
never,
idea what was going on in the movie,
Yeah, if you've never seen the
Then
Pirates of
you're
the Caribbean movies,
confused
you
here.
have no idea what
There-
the hell was going on. Especially since a lot of the stuff that happened with the characters didn't even involve Sora. They're like, "Oh, Sora, this happened, blah 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 blah."
Yeah.
By the way, we need to fight this guy now.
there is a segment in just before you fight Davy Jones where you get that bit in the movie where him and
Where he fuses
Jack
through-
Sparrow are cross each other from this wheel,
Yeah.
and he's just like, well, whatever, I'll just walk through the wheel because I'm a ghost pirate thing. But you don't know that in the game, and so it just looks like the
That's a good
animators
point.
got cheeky and had him clip through it.
Like, I'm just
I didn't
gonna-
even think about that. That's hilarious.
I'm just gonna
Oh
glitch.
my word.
Oh well, we'll just ignore
That's
that
funny.
glitch.
It was
They
also
didn't do any kind of like animation special effect while he was walking through it too. He just clips through it.
yeah. Yeah, and it was also weird because like that one didn't have like any of the original voice actors, which is something
No.
that usually
No.
happens as you bring back the original voice
A
actors.
very convincing
did
Johnny
have a very
Depp.
yeah.
But
Johnny
he was
Depp was
not
good.
Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp was good, but like the rest of it just it just kind of it was like
It
okay,
felt
this
off.
feels
It felt off.
weird in context of everything else.
Yeah. Like, it wasn't
know,
even good imitations of the original characters. It was just...
Yeah,
Hey, take that ball away from her.
I did, and then she started bothering me. Okay, so yeah, I enjoyed the ship combat. The world you had set up, the fact that you could go underwater just randomly, and there would be stuff there, and you could sail from one place to another. All that was fun. I like that as elements. It didn't get fleshed. It was just cutscene to cutscene,
Yeah.
pushing you through, and then the weird
It pushed you out of it
slowdown
way
with
too
the crabs and the weird Tia Dalma Johnny Depp, which was just bizarre.
soon.
Yeah.
and then and they're like, oh yeah, you're going to want to level up your ship for the final battle and find more crabs and explore. I was like, nope.
You could just sail right to the final battle if you ignored the tidbit you could perfectly ignore.
Exactly. I'm like, I'm not going to do that, and I have a feeling I'm not going to regret it.
That's another thing. The ship combat wasn't as fleshed out as I would have liked.
Oh no!
I mean, it was super
limited.
simple.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it, but that's because it reminded me of old pirate games I used to play.
From when I was looking at it, it reminded me of my favorite Assassin's Creed game, Black Flag.
Yeah.
Which ship combat, perfect. But not here.
Yeah, and I mean the animation for Sora, Donald, and Goofy in that world was just top notch.
Oh, yeah,
the dirt on Sora's face it looks gorgeous, and it just made me so annoyed with the other levels because it looks so good. It's like I said earlier, you're playing a different game almost just because of the animation level.
Yeah.
And that's something that reminds me of Toy Story 2. When you go into Toy Story 2, they start you off with a game trailer.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know how we skipped over this. I was so confused, but I was so hyped. I was like, oh, hell yeah.
Is this some battle that Riku is in the middle of right now? What the fuck is going on?
This is gorgeous. Now the game started. I am pumped. I'm in. And it's just a trailer for a better game. So
it's almost like it was self-aware.
You're telling me you made a game trailer in my game
it's better looking
that looks better than my entire game.
Why would you do this to me?
You have the resources, you have the ability to make this look that good.
Because you showed us proof that you can make it look this
you
good.
You rubbed it in our faces.
Like, look at this shit you didn't get.
But we get plastic Hercules. Excuse me? Why?
The world is just not fair.
What?
Because we got to set it up for the next game.
Oh, goodness. All right, next world.
Next world also pushed you through San Francisco.
San Francisco, yeah.
Oh.
I was disappointed. I thought... I don't know.
At this point, I had found out there were only 8 worlds, and I'm like, okay, well, I'll just...
Yeah.
I need some main story. We've gotten barely any.
Yeah.
I'm just going to push myself through this. And they also pushed me through it.
Yep.
Because big world, not developed.
No.
Yeah, there's a lot of world there for sure, and a lot of set. It was huge. But, like...
But it was boring. There wasn't really...
It was. And it...
For
the
a
character
superhero
dialogue all felt really flat.
Oh, it was terrible there.
It was hard to see. And that's the thing overall we haven't even talked about, is just how bad the dialogue was in this game.
Heart darkness.
I can deal with the typical Kingdom Hearts. We all know it's going to be a little out there, a little confusing, and we're going to have the heart darkness, all that.
Yeah.
But when every single character has to get a reaction, and none of their reactions differ, it's all the same reaction, and it's just...
Gas.
Little anime gas. What? What? Oh my! There was it was just copy paste the same thing, and whoever was in charge of the editing needs to be fired, and then hired and fired again because it was so painful to get through cutscenes. Because, like, especially early on, you have one person talks, pause. Next person talks, or reacts. It was just, oh my word, it was painful every time. And I thought, and this is something my fiance was talking about, because I played through the games for the first time for her, so she didn't have nostalgia glasses for going into all this, and she agreed with me on all the points, because her first time playing them was last summer with me, because I wanted to get her ready for this, and she was so excited, because she loved the games she was playing with me. And I completely just lost where I was going with that.
The dialogue?
Nope.
Let's go. Damn, that's going to look really bad when people listen to it.
It'll come back to me in a minute, but you guys...
Shit, I lost my next point, too.
Well, we were in the middle of talking about Big Hero 6's world.
Yeah.
That's another one that you need to see the movie for a little bit. Where's the second Baymax coming from? What the hell?
Talk about laziness. It shines there, because you've got Sora, and the thing is, they get outfits when they go to new worlds. Sora, you get a pair of goggles made by Hero. That's it.
That's it.
We could give you a cool superhero outfit and just go full nerd on this, but we're not gonna.
Now, Sora can fly. It seems he's still able to fly.
Why he can fly, crawl up walls.
Why couldn't he do this here?
You're in a world where there are superheroes. Why?
Just fly, dude.
Why can't you
You've got
fly?
the magical ability. No, I'm gonna ride on Baymax, and it's going to be that boss fight. Actually annoyed me.
Oh god,
It was
It was
boring.
terrible.
It was boring. It was I was like, there's no difficulty to this. It's
No.
just annoying.
Just,
Difficulty is how long it's taking.
just chase through this cutscene scripted wall run thing. Wall run, hall, whatever.
Yeah.
And just hold the shoot button down or press it multiple times. I can't remember which one it was. And avoid obstacles. That's all you have to do.
That's it.
Yeah.
You win.
And you can do that and make it entertaining. You can do that and make it fun, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
And I don't know what about it was. The confinements, it just felt like the movement wasn't fluid. I don't know. I can't really put my finger on it. It was just weird. It felt off.
I think another thing for us is by the time we had gotten to that world, we were already just exhausted from just
Way
we
fatigued
were-
with the game. I
we
want my
were ready to
storyline
just
now.
get to the end. End. I wanted to see everything finish up because everything else had just been so disappointing. I'm like, oh, another world. I just want to get through it. I just want you to finish it.
You've
fact
been
that we
drip
can-
feeding me this garbage. Please give me a glass of what I would like now.
Yeah,
And then they
Exactly.
just dump a
You can-
bucket of it.
You can say that about a Kingdom Hearts game. It's just heartbreaking.
Yeah.
I know.
Because, I had the exact same feeling. I just want to be done with this world. This isn't interesting. I don't care about these characters. They're not going to affect anything.
No,
You want to be done, and it shouldn't feel like that.
no, it
I
shouldn't.
blame that 100% on the engine change, and you can tell if you look at specific worlds like Toy Story
Yep.
and what was my other example? Monstropolis.
Yeah.
Those
Yeah.
are well fleshed out worlds with well fleshed out stories. Well, mostly. And he's like, yeah, great. These worlds are nice and complete. But everything else seems like you just took a whiteboard, threw some points down, and then had whoever program it with whatever assets.
Yeah, that's exactly how it was. Which is just so disappointing because I keep thinking back to Kingdom Hearts 1. I love replaying that.
Mhm.
I've played it a million times. I've
Yep.
played it more than any other game. And every time I replay it, I still
That's
have
what I was
fun.
going to go for.
Even in boring worlds or I say boring, but they're not boring. Like
Sure.
Alice in Wonderland, I love playing through that because there's
Yeah.
different stuff you can do. It's not just heartless battle after heartless battle. There's
Yeah.
different cool things you get to discover about the world, and
Mhm.
and it's fun to go back to.
And you want to explore. You want to find all the hidden
Yeah,
secrets. I
exactly.
didn't care
No,
when I got to Big Hero 6.
Yeah.
By that
There
point in
was-
the game, I'd been trying to get all the hidden Mickeys and stuff. I'm like, I just don't care anymore.
like nope, this isn't even worth
Also-
it.
I
I'm
can get
done.
the Ultimate Keyblade. I love getting the Ultimate Keyblade. It's one of those things you unlock for the
Nope.
final bosses. I was like, I don't want to. It's
Buddy-
not worth my time.
After I beat the game, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to just go for the Ultimate Keyblade. Cool,
Yeah.
whatever. And then I'm like, what do I need to get? All this stuff? Okay, cool. How do I get this thing? Oh, I need to get all the lucky emblems? I guess I'm done playing the game.
Like that's never
But
happening.
by the
Done.
time I got to San Francisco, I noticed something else that I absolutely hated. I'm not getting any Final Fantasy characters in this game.
Yeah,
Oh,
I was
yeah.
waiting for us to get to that.
Yep.
That is,
Painful.
Kingdom Hearts 1 had him, of course.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
I imagine that we had him in
There wouldn't have been a story without him in
No.
Kingdom Hearts 1.
I imagine we could have made original characters, whatever, but we had them in here because Disney Final Fantasy crossover, that looks interesting. Let's do it. When really now it just feels like, hey, do you guys like anime characters in your Disney? Because we want to do that.
Yeah.
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 That's all.
You've got
all it was.
characters who are just integral parts of Sora's story. Sora wakes up and meets these characters after his world's destroyed.
Leon
And-
welcomes him into this
Leon
strange
and
new
Yuki,
world.
And
Oh,
that's
yeah.
that's everything goes from there. Half of the plot of Kingdom Hearts 2 is helping them restore their planet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's half of the plot. That world is a huge part. The coolest, most cinematic battles take place in that world almost
Yes.
exclusively.
Oh, God, yes.
They're intricate, expressive parts of the world. And not only do you not go to their world, but we leave these characters completely unaddressed.
Mhm.
They don't exist. It's like they just, forgot about them.
No, nobody gives any
And
single
I think-
poop about
And
them.
Maybe
Sora
in the
doesn't
beginning-
even think
I-
about it.
I think they just make one very, very brief mention to them in the beginning because I remember hearing their names and thinking, "Oh, we'll get to see them soon," and then it never happens.
Yeah, I mean,
It never gets addressed.
And
Where's my
there's so much
Sephiroth
you
fight?
can
This is
explore.
a main title.
Right,
Where's
right.
my Sephiroth
Where's
fight?
the Sephiroth fight? That's one of the That's the hardest fight in all of the games. And you wait, and after you beat the game,
All of the
then you go-
mainline titles, at least.
Exactly. When you beat the game, you go back and you fight Sephiroth
Yeah.
after you've maxed out, and it takes
Yeah.
you hours and hours. And I cannot tell you how many times I had to get to level 99. Sephiroth in Kingdom Hearts 2 was one of the hardest things I've ever
Oh
done.
yes.
For me, it's always a bare
Yeah.
minimum. I got to get to level 80 before I try and challenge this.
And the satisfaction when you do it,
yeah.
oh my word,
Nothing
you worked
like it.
so hard for it. And the characters and their interactions and how they encourage the characters and how they drive the story forward. And you've got Hollow Bastion in Kingdom Hearts 3 or Radiant Garden because there's characters there, just not you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And none of the Final Fantasy characters.
So what happened was, since you never go to Hollow Bastion, Cloud and Sephiroth appear somewhere. Who knows? On Hollow Bastion, they have another fight, and you don't get to be a part of it because the game hates you.
It doesn't make any sense.
It's just
there's no explanation for it. There's no reason for it, and it just does. It's this huge plot hole that just throws you for a loop.
Yeah.
I mean, it's such a disappointment that I just don't have much to say about it.
Yeah.
It's just, you're missing half of the feel for the game.
It feels like you used the series, which, fine, Tetsuya Nomura worked on that series. That's great if he wants to pay homage to the characters he specifically worked on, whatever. You're using these characters in your series to popularize it initially, and then you're throwing them away like some kind of asshole.
Yeah.
Because, they stood within their own rights and their own stories within the world.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They were, unlike most of the Disney characters, they were fleshed out. They knew about the other worlds.
Oh, yeah.
They existed outside the Final Fantasy world, and they were an intricate part of the game in their own right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They were just like the rest of the characters, the original characters to the story. They existed and knew about events. Right? They weren't isolated. They knew what was going on. They were trying to help the overall progression of things. Mm-hmm. And they could continue on, and you could see the effects of, there's reference to the original Final Fantasy games, and you can see that in how the characters changed between the first and second game, right?
Yeah.
And it's just, you have so much potential there for interesting things. Like, you could have had Sora finding out about Aerith's death.
Oh, yeah.
One of the most impactful deaths in video game history. And it could have been something you brought up in the context of this game that every single hardcore fan would have lost their minds about.
And that would have given you your third Sephiroth fight.
There you go. That's it. It's a perfect way to work it in.
Absolutely.
And then you get to have this character moment with Sora, where he has to actually face the fact that a character is actually dead.
Yeah.
And actually deal with that. And the amount of character...
Also, let's not give him anything he can do about this, please.
Exactly. But it's something you could do to mature the game a little bit. And that's one of the points I made on my post about this was Kingdom Hearts 1 to Kingdom Hearts 2, the game matures with its audience.
Yeah.
It grows up. It gets edgier. It gets darker, right?
Yes.
It goes from the game you played as a kid to the game you played as a teenager in your emo phase or whatever phase you were in. You played it and you enjoyed it and you nerded out on it and you're like, wow, this has progressed.
Yeah.
Right? It grew up with you. Kingdom Hearts 3 did not. Kingdom Hearts 3 was not made for the people who grew up playing Kingdom Hearts 1 and Kingdom Hearts 2.
No, it wasn't.
You can have a game mature with its audience without making it not kid friendly.
Right.
Absolutely.
Because it has to be kid friendly because it's a Kingdom Hearts game. You got Disney characters and stuff. But you can do that and make it darker and make it more serious without driving away the children.
Absolutely.
This game overall felt like it was made for a child. In so many different ways. From the story, from the characters, to the fact that we're not growing with our audience. Mm-hmm. The characters, Sora in Kingdom Hearts 2 is a completely different character from Sora in Kingdom Hearts 1.
Oh, yeah.
He's grown, he's matured, he's learned, he's gotten older, he's changed his outfit. Simple things, but you can tell by the end of it, he's a different person. He's the same person at heart, but he's still a different person. Kingdom Hearts 3 Sora feels like Kingdom Hearts 1 Sora, but even less of a character. Yeah. Less personality than Kingdom Hearts 1 Sora. And this is something my fiance and I were talking about, is like, Sora is such an idiot that I thought he was... And it's not that just he's an idiot. Everyone around him thinks he's an idiot.
Oh, yeah. No, they punk him the entire game. Real hard.
Sora was going to go to the dark side. They bullied this kid so hard. I thought he was going to turn into a maniac. I was like, please make this kid go dark, because this is abuse.
Let him have a snap.
Every other scene, I'm looking at Tara like, man, they're punking him real hard.
Oh, my word. Donald and Goofy would not let up.
Oh, no, they wouldn't.
To be fair, they actually seem to show actual... friendship in this game a bit better because of that. But
that's a good thing. But the fact is, it's like, Sora's so dumb now, I felt bad.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, you're so dumb. I feel like they shouldn't be bullying you for how dumb you are.
It's
borderline.
It's a Goku level of dumb. When you kind of just like, yeah, oh, well, whatever.
And
I'll just get stronger again.
It's regressed, because he wasn't like that at the end of Kingdom Hearts.
No, he was
No,
not.
it wasn't.
In this one, he's just completely useless. He's like, huh? About every single thing.
Well,
and Light,
all that memory loss will do that to you.
we dealt with that, though.
Well, we have to deal with it more.
What? I just, it's so upsetting. And he wasn't the only character like that. And that had a lot to do with the dialogue and stuff. Like I said earlier, Axel actually felt matured. His dialogue was good. There was variation to it.
Axel probably grew the most of all the characters for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't understand. Axel felt out of place with everyone else. And then
He
when
was
he gets to the end,
underutilized too.
he's absolutely
For someone who grew the
underutilized.
most in like 30 minutes of scene that he had in
Right.
the entire game.
There's no
boy,
payoff.
no.
There's no
No.
payoff. Him and Kyrie train with Yen Sid for the entire game, right? And then we get zero payoff on that.
Right.
Axel gets absolutely wrecked
By Syx and Shion.
by Syx and Shaw. And here's the thing: is he shouldn't. We've seen what Axel can
Xemnas.
do.
Oh, yeah.
We've seen this guy kick some ass,
Yeah.
and that was
They-
before he had a Keyblade.
Exactly.
They should have just left him with his chakrams.
And I think they missed out on an opportunity for us to be able to play as Axel. Because we were able to play as Riku briefly when
We were
we
able to play as Riku and Awkward
Oh
briefly.
man, those
And-
teases.
Yeah,
that
right?
would have been so cool to actually play as Axel,
Well,
during
wait
the
up for the
training.
DLC, right?
Yeah, hopefully.
I mean,
But
it
it
would-
just missed opportunity.
No, not hopefully. Don't do that just for your DLC.
No, you know what I mean. It's
Yeah.
a missed opportunity where we could have seen more of the character and just
I mean,
enjoyed
and,
more.
They teased us with that too. Was you get to play a little bit as these two characters very, very briefly,
Yeah.
and I mean that's something they kind of done in the other games. At the end of like 2, you get to play a little bit as Riku. It's a fun little thing, but the way they did it, it's like it felt like there should have been more.
Yeah.
You know, and it's
Well, you had Chain of Memories before that, and you got to play a whole campaign with Riku, so screw you.
right.
Not enough. I need more.
It's not the same at all. Well,
No,
you got
it's
Dream
not.
Drop Distance, and you got to play a whole campaign as Riku, so screw you.
I mean,
Doesn't count.
even Riku felt like he'd regressed in this
Oh,
one.
God, he did.
But
They
see-
gave- I need to mention this, too.
Yeah.
They gave him a car key as a Keyblade.
That was one of the
That
most
was wild.
ridiculous
That
things I've
was
seen.
wild.
He's the only one running around.
Just big
contextually,
funky ass keyblade.
and contextually, it's just like, excuse me. It's just so out of place.
I need a stronger Keyblade, guys. Vroom, vroom,
Well,
motherfucker.
yeah, like, what's with that? Why do you need a stronger Keyblade?
All of a sudden, they can break?
What?
Like, what? That's a thing?
Excuse me? What are Keyblades anymore? I thought they were this big deal.
I thought they were big and attached to you. What's going on? We can just forge them? Forge them from the dwarven gods? I didn't mean to throw that ball. Damn.
Let's not even go back to what the original game was said. It's like, oh, the one Keyblade wielder.
The
The,
one.
one Keyblade!
Yep. Yep.
Nope,
I mean,
nope, retcon. That's
we've
not
moved
true.
past that to such a degree. It's okay.
No, it straight up became the Bleach Zanpakuto bullshit.
Yeah. I mean, I can deal with other people having Keyblades. I thought when I found out other people had Keyblades, I thought that was cool.
Yeah,
You know,
Yeah,
when
no.
you see the
It never
Keyblade
bothered me.
graveyard
Yeah, that
and
was
the
a little.
after scene in the second game, I
It's-
was like,
It's
Oh my
it's
God.
Disney Jedi before they acquired
What?
Star Wars.
right,
Yeah.
right,
Fair enough.
right.
But I mean,
Yeah,
it
it's
never
just-
bothered me. It's just it's just interesting that they immediately dropped that after the first game.
Yeah.
It just got more and more wild with it. Once we got the Keyblade graveyard thing going on, I'm like, okay, guys, this is starting to seem a little less legendary now.
And I mean, what the question is, what at this point qualifies you for a Keyblade?
A soul.
A
Okay.
pulse.
A pulse, a good heart, right?
Yeah.
Why don't Donald and Goofy have Keyblades?
Because
Is it only for humans? Because that's specious.
that's racist.
Mickey has a Keyblade.
Mickey has a Keyblade and
Oh,
he's a rat.
See, you're right. I forgot that Mickey wasn't a human. Oh my goodness.
Why doesn't Yen Sid have a Keyblade?
He should
Oh,
totally
he
have a
he
Keyblade.
gave up Keyblading actually.
Okay, see, there
That's
you go.
there's actually an
canon
explanation
reason
to
for
that, and I'll give it
Yep.
to them. Why don't Goofy and Donald?
Why don't they?
To be
Why
fair,
don't they?
Donald doesn't need one.
Maybe.
I mean, right?
They have
No.
established that he is as strong as Bahamut.
That was one of the best moments in the entire game.
It
When
was.
Donald
Oh, yeah.
just goes full summoning circle. That blew my mind. But there again, that's another area where they kind of slacked off because it's like, okay, is he done?
Yeah.
Because they
Let's-
build up that whole scene like Donald's done. Goofy says,
implied.
"Donald, don't." He's fine.
It's implied.
He's fine. You know, it's okay. He just did this incredible attack. Yeah, it's fine. He's okay.
It's implied that after Donald used Zeta Flare to straight up kill Terra Xehanort, that everyone but Sora died there, and then Sora got his power of awakening shit going on, and I need to point this out. Before I get into this, we've had our rules of time travel in this game series, as established by Dream Drop Distance. Time travel, if it happens, was always going to happen, apparently. Also, you can't change anything when you time travel, so what's the point? So, with that baseline rules for time travel established, never mind all the other nonsensical stuff, Sora goes back in time, saves everyone's lives, gets back to that moment before Terra Xehanort kicks all their asses, doesn't tell anyone, and then for some reason, Terra in armor form comes by because something changed?
Yeah.
Apparently.
I thought...
We time traveled, though, and we're not supposed to be able to change anything.
I didn't even realize it was time travel until you pointed it out.
Yeah.
I thought,
the series.
It was just so confusing.
The scene goes exactly how it did before, with the exception of Terra coming in this time.
Yeah, I know. I mean, we repeated the scene. I was like, I didn't even realize that was time travel.
Yeah.
Right? Which says something about it.
Yeah.
Because I love time travel and stuff. But I was just like, okay, why are we back here? Why is this happening again?
Right.
Like the fact that my brain didn't even connect it, that we just time traveled, was like.
They didn't say it because they knew that they broke the rules they established.
Yeah, and
they did.
That whole scene and everything going on. Like, Sora goes down, I'm like, okay, did I make a wrong move? Is the game, saying I took... Is this,
do we got some multiple ending stuff going on here?
You gotta
what's
do
going
things
on?
Right.
You gotta find all those lucky emblems to get the good ending.
Oh, God.
No, and it just happened, and then it resets, just like... And it doesn't make sense how they were overwhelmed by just a bunch of Heartless.
Yeah, really. It was...
Like, you want to talk about
You've been killing millions of these things for years. You were using a Disney train to blast thousands of them away just a second ago. Where is that now?
At least give us reason for why you're all just getting your crap stomped in.
Yeah.
It didn't make any sense. All these people are super cool and super powerful, and they're just getting
because we need a dramatic moment.
Because cutscene.
We have to have everyone die so that Sora can go Super Saiyan.
Yeah.
Because
and then
story?
Terra comes in and does this cool
out of nowhere. Why?
Armored Terra. I'm confused. How many Terras were there in the final world?
Xemnas and Ansem are both a form of Terra. Terra Xehanort is a form of Terra. And the armor went away at some point, but he was also there.
What?
After he goes off and he battles Terra Xehanort somewhere, and we never see him again. We don't know how that fight went.
Yeah, it didn't make any sense. And then we're fighting him again, and then all of a sudden the Heartless is Terra.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
There were like 6 different Terras. 5.
There's too many Terras going on right now.
Yeah.
It didn't make any sense.
No. It was it was just batshit insanity.
And then we have like Riku and Riku's dark side, which has been talking to him this whole time, going on. And,
I think that's the heart replica that he had in Chain of Memories that's just following him around.
That only he can see.
Yeah, only he can see. And then the actual replica time traveled forward, I think. I don't know.
Riku's got schizophrenia. Cool. Let's get it.
Yeah, that would
he's got it real hard.
And his character's just developed so much, and he's built up as so strong. He's just not in this game.
Yeah.
The final battle, he's not even in the last bit of the final battle. Every other game, you got Riku there.
Oh god, he's not.
We lose, we get everyone in, and then it's Sora, Donald, and Goofy versus Xehanort.
Yeah.
Instead of Riku and Sora versus Xehanort.
It's like, guys, stupid. we need Keyblades and whatever Guardians of Light to fight all these Xehanorts. Hey, at the big Xehanort fight, you want to bring just Donald and Goofy by any chance? Yeah, no, that sounds good.
That's great. Let's just bring these two.
We
got I think like 8 other Keyblade users.
You want to bring them?
Donald and Goofy.
At some point, I'm pretty sure...
did you know Donald can Zeta Flare everything away? Nah, let's take him to the final battle. Oh, can he use the Zeta Flare?
Nah.
Stop it. Fuck you.
Nah.
No,
it doesn't
Didn't
exist.
they stay behind partially through it because
they stayed behind with they stayed behind with Yen Sid to fight all those.
And it was cool to see him
dudes.
come in.
Yeah, that was
a cool
fun.
moment. I'll give him that. You know, but there's just overall, it's just, and the final world is trying to put my finger on what about it bothers me so much.
How rushed all the fights were.
Yeah. I mean, that's definitely part of it. You fight everyone, and like, I want to fight everyone, but...
Why don't you establish a good enough threat by letting me fight these guys earlier and letting them either almost kick my shit in or definitely kick my shit in.
Exactly.
Provide some context, and
get a good power scale going.
Yeah.
That tends to be something that Final Fantasy games do well enough. They'll put you in a fight that you definitely can't win. Or maybe can come close to winning but still can't. And they don't make it a game over condition. The story progresses as it would.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Now you know how strong that character is. That's a threatening character now when you go off and face them later.
Yep. It's just unexplored. And then we get... I don't know, it's the final boss fight.
You're just fighting all of them all at once.
Yeah, and I mean, that's cool, but you're not even going to give us link commands?
No, give us that, man.
Like, give us some cool cinematic scenes of these characters all fighting together and stuff, and I don't know, it's just... You've beaten these characters before. You've beaten Xemnas. You've beaten Ansem.
Literally every single one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Why are so many of these powerful allies of yours struggling the way they are?
Yeah.
Aqua should not have been struggling so hard against... Aqua the most should not have been struggling at all in these fights.
I mean,
No.
for real.
Because she's been at it for a decade.
For
What
real.
the hell went on?
What happened with Aqua? Aqua's such a great character, and she just... I
The only ones-
I like the concept that she's been in the dark, fighting the darkness so long that it overwhelms her.
Yeah. No, that's
That
a
was
great
a
concept.
cool thing. That's an interesting development.
Did
And then we yada Sora into it,
yeah.
and he just beats it out of her.
Yeah.
And that's not interesting. That's not creative. That you're not finding a solution for that. You know
what was a great example of getting evil shit out of people? Tara's gonna love this one. Season 6 of Buffy, the Vampire Slayer. When Willow's all evil and shit, and Xander's like, "It's okay, I love you. I'll be here for the end of the world with you." And she's like, "Hey, why are you doing that? No, don't, no." And then they have a nice reconnecting moment.
And that's what Kingdom Hearts is,
Yeah.
right? And that's one of the things
I love the emotional
we talk
connection.
about the cheesiness and stuff, but you don't save Aqua
By beating the shit out of her.
Yeah, that's what they do. You have an opportunity to embrace what these games are, and the cheesiness and the heart and the care and the love.
Yeah.
And
It's
that's how
cheesy,
Sora,
that's
how
what we
Sora would
want.
do it.
Yeah, he
Well,
would have
Hug it out of her.
While we're here.
Exactly.
The one time I'm okay with that happening.
While we're still at the end of the game, I absolutely loved the redone renditions of the battle musics for all of those end bosses.
Yep.
Those were perfect.
Yeah, that was great. Music was great. I had no complaints about music at all.
Oh,
I love
no.
the opening theme for this one. It was very
Overall,
unique.
the score everywhere was pretty entertaining.
I didn't feel like there was any scores other than the opening one that really stood out.
That's true.
Like it was stood out because of nostalgia.
Main worlds,
Yeah.
I don't remember the music much. That's
It didn't have the
that's
same
common.
charm that the first and second game had.
Right.
Like Hollow Bastion, I love the music in Hollow Bastion.
Oh,
I could listen
absolutely
to it.
beautiful.
It's amazing.
I can hear it come up on any variant and any instrument. I'm like,
And
I know exactly
that's
what
what
that
that
is and
is.
where that
Traverse
scene
Town
was.
music, just
Oh,
the
yeah.
walking
Oh, my
around
goodness.
music.
I miss Traverse
So
Town.
great.
Yep. They cut that in half, which was weird.
There wasn't
Yeah.
even. I don't even remember going.
We
to
didn't go to
Traverse
Traverse Town. We went to Twilight Town.
That's right,
That's right,
Twilight
Twilight
Town.
Town.
And they didn't even let you go throughout the entirety of Twilight Town.
Yep.
It was stupid.
That was weird and unnecessary. And Hayner, Pence, and Olette.
Oh
My
God.
when they're over trying to kick the shit out of it was Ansem, right?
Yes!
Why does he just kill them?
Ansem! And then Diz just runs off in the background, and apparently the flying jump kick was enough to stop a threat that literally
Send
threatened
them
the
into the
entire
final
universe.
boss, guys. Let them fight. They
To
got
be
it.
fair, Vexen was helping.
Oh.
Can we talk about Vexen for
We
a
can.
second?
Let's talk about Vexen for a second.
I'm sorry, but what? Okay, you're switching sides. Why? That makes no
There's no
sense with your
reason for
character
it.
at all.
No.
That doesn't mean... I'm down if you give me a reason, but contextually, you were one of the most evil, twisted characters from the original games.
should
And you were
you
such a
were in it
bastard.
for the science,
You were
and you're
such a-
still
yeah,
in it for the science.
scientific
What
bastard.
changed?
And just, oh yeah, no, I'm working both sides now.
Yep. That's what I'm doing.
Hey, can I talk to you for a second?
Yeah, hey.
Hey, I came up with a really great idea, dude.
Yeah?
I'm gonna play both sides.
Why would you tell me that?
Should I not have?
Probably shouldn't, because if you're trying to keep a secret from me, well, now I know.
Should I tell them?
No, I don't think you should tell either side, because if you're trying to play both sides and they both know, you're not playing anybody.
What should I do now?
I don't give a shit. Why are you here?
Why do I trust you? Why would anyone trust you? You're nuts. You're creepy and nuts. But yeah, no, he's a good guy now. That's cool.
Yeah, whatever.
He's helping make
But
replicas,
why?
which we can insert parts of people's souls in, and
Now-
without.
Now, I get Demix playing both sides.
Sure,
That makes sense.
within his character,
Because he's a weak guy.
because he's pathetic, and he talks about how pathetic he is for about 5 minutes.
Yeah. You got to get that self-deprecating humor in.
Yeah, and you know what? Cool. That's consistent with his character, just like it's consistent with Marluxia to try and overthrow the organization again,
Yeah.
which he doesn't do.
No, he fails real hard at that. He
Like-
really went for it at that last second there.
Yeah, and then Zigbar. You saw the after scene or
Yeah.
the prologue. I
Yeah.
don't know
Yeah.
if that was a mystery ending or whatever.
No, that wasn't the mystery ending.
Were
The
there-
mystery ending was completely stupid.
Yeah. Zigbar shows up. He's like, I'm actually someone else.
Yeah.
We-
We
Entirely.
can spoil it. I'm going to
Yeah.
fill this thing with spoiler tags.
Yeah.
I'm Luzu! Who cares?
Ooh.
Who?
Well, you know, you gotta play the Union Cross. Is that what it was?
Yeah, Union
Yep.
Cross.
You gotta play Union Cross, the game that nobody played.
I don't want to play that game. So just tell me what
No,
I need
play
to
it.
know. No, I'm not doing it.
No,
And
play the game.
I'll be honest, I like the story behind the origin and the Keyblade Wars and the different factions and all that. But to shove that in there in small pieces in the other games and then in the mobile game is not a good way to build this up.
No.
I
It's
would've-
not a good way to set things up because that's pretty important stuff.
Yeah.
And most people just play the main games,
Yeah.
right? Because you have to buy like 7 different systems to play all of them,
Yes.
you know? So you need to work, if it's going to be that integral to the main game, you need to work it out in some other area.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like when you summon like all the Keyblades and you're just flying around on them in the final boss fight, and then dude shows up and talks to you, and then you get
With
the names
dude
of all
with the least anime hair of anyone in the game.
Oh my word! I was like, "Who is this?"
Does this make any sense?
I don't know who this is. What is happening? I'm
Excuse
like,
my
oh,
language. It
mobile
was
game,
Eat That
I guess.
Pussy 69.
Oh my gosh! And then you got to go through all the names. I'm like, okay, cool way to incorporate that, but what?
But anybody, like, if I had no idea what it was at all, I'm like, what the hell's going on, Lewis? I don't understand.
Yeah, but
No,
Morgan, my
I don't
fiance, was
know.
like, "What just happened?
Don't ask.
Why are there names?"
Like, are you
Don't
being,
ask.
Are you being helped by spooky ghosts?
My
What's
roommate
going
walks
on?
in during that scene, and he's like, "Oh, this must be the end of the game because like there's names on the screen, and you're like giant Keyblade
Like,
flying thing versus
No,
a giant
those
Tower
are
of Darkness."
credits.
It
I
was-
still have a
I was
boss
like-
battle.
That was
I've
the
got
first.
2 more hours to go, bud.
That was the first fight that you didn't need to mash X to win.
Yeah.
You had to mash triangle,
Yep.
Several
but not
times.
X.
And see, a lot of people don't like reaction commands. I do.
Yeah, I do too.
I grew up on Kingdom Hearts, and that was just
Yeah.
part of it, and I never had an issue with it because they were so cinematic.
Yeah.
Yes,
Every
absolutely.
reaction command makes you do things that there's no way to incorporate it into real gameplay.
You're here for the big anime fights.
Yeah, you're here for the big, and
Yeah.
that's how you get them. And reaction camps, it was just they weren't there, or they were lackluster for the most part.
Yeah.
You know, you remember in Kingdom Hearts 2 how you and Riku suddenly are surrounded by 1,000,000 lasers,
Yes.
and you have to reaction command the crap out
Yes.
of that for
I-
5 minutes and just hit those buttons as quick as you can, and it feels awesome.
I would say that the better reaction command usage was in the Final Cut version of Sora versus Roxas.
Mm-hmm.
Those were used
Oh,
quite well.
yeah. Oh,
They were.
that's
That was
right.
With
Incredible
using them
fight.
expertly, you just getting 3 Keyblades to just fuck Roxas up.
Yep. Yep, that was super cool.
Oh, yeah,
You know,
that was
and
very well done.
We didn't get to like Roxas comes out dual wielding.
Yeah. That,
Mhm. Just
We don't really
because.
explore that though. Like I love
How
Kingdom Hearts.
can he
The
still-
drive forms are completely forgotten. You
Oh,
can have
yeah.
4 Keyblades at once. That was so much fun.
Yeah.
So can-
How
can we
does
do it again?
Roxas? How is he able to still dual wield?
I
It
don't
was
know. That's
explained
never
in the first
explained.
game because of Sora's heart being with him.
Yeah.
But that's not
But-
the case anymore.
No, because Sword.
And why
has
does he
his
still
heart.
have Oathkeeper and Oblivion? At least he can still have Oblivion, but the
Sure.
Oathkeeper charm was given back to Kairi.
Yeah. Kyrie. Oh, Kyrie.
Let's get on Kairi for a bit.
Kyrie.
We're running over time, but I don't care. We're in this now.
I can't even remember what we've talked about at this point because there's just so much.
Well,
I don't
most
know,
assuredly,
whatever.
we've mentioned that Kairi is a flatboard character.
Yes.
That's really all you need to mention.
Yep.
She dies once so that Sora can go Super Saiyan with the whole learning how to go back in time shit. And then she dies again so that Sora can go Super Saiyan 2.
She gets freaking teleported up into his hand and then shattered into non-existence.
Just the most useless character ever.
Oh, that's 13.
Oh no.
What? I was like, what? What? I'm so confused.
Also, how come this whole dumping his heart out into a bunch of different bodies thing not have a Voldemort-esque effect on him?
Right, like let's explore that, but no, we're not going to address that.
Just forget it.
I thought that's why he was so stupid. Because he either has 3 hearts shoved in him, or his heart is split into 3 different pieces.
See, I was talking about Xehanort.
Oh, Xehanort, yeah.
No, Sora too. I expected Sora to be depowered once the hearts left him.
Xehanort's putting himself in all these other people, changes their eye color.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it establishes that, but it doesn't change their personalities at all.
Which doesn't make sense.
There should
be some kind of change.
And
something
if it works like that for Xehanort, why hasn't it worked like that for Sora? And let's see both sides of the coin here.
Everyone's got blue eye color. Everyone Sora's touched the butts up.
But if eye color is the only thing that changes, what's the point?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You know, why did he need to do it?
Eyes are the window to the soul, man.
They are, and that's that's one of my favorite sayings because it's such an interesting and there's so much truth to that. And it's inconsequential in this story.
If the heart is a metaphor for the soul, and you know your soul is going to be who you are.
Yeah. And
if their traits don't change.
Yeah.
With Xehanort being dumped into them, why did we need them?
Yeah, because that's how you deal.
Why
with
did we need to do all this going back in time stuff? Right. Why not just find people who are willing to be as evil as you?
Yeah, and that's how you deal with the Marluxia uprising thing that gets teased, right?
Yeah.
You want to deal with that. Here's how you resolve it, and you don't have the resolution. Xehanort's now literally 90 or 50% of him.
Yeah.
He's not going to betray himself because he now aligns with Xehanort's line of view. When you establish that he has independent of thought enough to the point where he's planning
another coup.
Yeah.
How do you ignore that, and how do you address that?
By rushing the ending.
And instead of going, okay, he either didn't because he was now in line with his views, or something else. You know, there's things you can do with that, and you can have it not happen. But to just leave it completely unaddressed and establish that, okay, well, obviously Xehanort isn't so much a part of him that he can't think for himself.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It doesn't line up. It doesn't match.
It's like, then what's the point of dumping your butthole into him?
Yeah.
Why are we doing this?
It's like they set up this interesting tool to develop on, and they just didn't do anything with it.
You set up this way that's how he controls everyone, but everyone obviously is independent of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because of all the betrayal.
You can't have it both ways.
No.
And it work.
But apparently you can.
And that's fine. You know, just oof.
So we touched a little bit on the secret ending, so I'm going to go back to 2 underused characters, the most underused characters here, Pete and Maleficent.
I was so ready to see them again. I was so excited to see
when
their
they first came in looking
interaction.
for whatever box in Olympus.
Yep.
And, you know, at the end of that, they found a box, and it was just Pandora's box. I'm like, oh, okay, well, cool. We're going to backtrack to some worlds and have some extra story going on. That, of course, didn't happen.
So
and we never saw Pete and Maleficent again.
Yep.
Until...
They walked through Big Hero 6 once.
Did they?
Yep.
Maleficent
talks
to
someone.
That.
Young Xehanort. And Maleficent have this weird, like, we're going to fight, but we're not moment. And then it's over.
Yeah. I don't even remember that.
Yeah, it's like a 30-second cutscene, if that.
Awesome. We may have skipped it.
We may have. We were tired of Big Hero 6 by then.
Yeah. Yeah.
We were tired of the whole game by then.
Yeah, and then we get to see him again at the very end.
Me and you got into it with some Facebook people very minorly when people were advertising, for some reason, those 2 characters as reasons to get Kingdom Hearts 3. And one of the many things people had to say against this, or one of the things people said many times, rather, was that they were just there to establish plot for the next game. And there are better ways you can do that.
Yes, absolutely.
One, they already did it with Luzu and the other people you don't know very well.
Yeah.
Secondly, you can just not have her throughout the entire game. and have that ominous shot you had with her when
Oh
she's
yeah, that would have been amazing.
eavesdropping basically on them.
Yeah.
And walks away. Now you have a reminder that there's still a threat going on in the world in Maleficent and Pete.
Yes.
And they're up to some stuff that you don't know about.
Yeah.
Great. Awesome. Cool. Now we have a threat for the next game.
And when they're integral characters in previous games, you expect that in this game.
Yeah.
Right? Pete shows up at the very beginning of Kingdom Hearts 2, and he shows up multiple times, and you have to fight him multiple times throughout the game.
He's a nuisance,
yeah.
And he's obnoxious, but he's a great character, and he's well done, and it involves in the story. It helps progress things.
He is one of the though he
He's
is
one of the main-
though he is silly, he is one of the main nemesis of Sora.
He's an integral part of the plot.
And Maleficent is one of the most prevalent parts of the story in both games,
Oh yeah.
and is such a wild card because she's always got her own agenda going on, and she literally pretty much sacrifices herself at the end of the second game
Oh yeah.
to help you do whatever you want.
She
'cause she's
sacrifices
like,
herself, but not really.
right, but she's like, you go do your thing. I've got plans.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm going to fight 1,000 nobodies
She's
by myself. We'll talk later.
she's always been very self-serving.
Because she's got something going on completely independent of everything else.
Yeah, like even if she's
You know?
she's helping you fight 1,000 heartless or nobodies, she's got a backup plan.
Exactly.
She's conniving. She knows what she's doing.
She's not just her world villain,
She's
right?
Yeah.
So that's something we did with Kingdom Hearts 1,
Yeah.
is all the villains are getting together to do this thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And it all plays into stuff, and the worlds aren't all as isolated as they should be.
Yeah.
Right? And Maleficent's behind it all and stuff. And
Very well
we
done.
do some of that in the second one, you know?
Yeah.
But by the third, we just completely forgotten that.
Like none of the
There's
worlds
no
had
overlap.
any interaction with each other
There's
at all.
no overlap, you know? And there's no payoff with Maleficent. She's such a great character in her. She's always such a great boss fight. She's so intimidating and so interesting. And she just appears and disappears in this.
She even shows up in Birth by Sleep as
Yeah.
here's Terra to establish her curiosity getting piqued and all this,
Yeah.
and why you have to deal with her in the future so much,
Exactly.
and then
she's-
you don't anymore.
And you don't need her to establish the threat for future games, because you're doing that in that entire after cutscene when you find out Zigbar is someone else. I
That's
forget
all you
his name.
needed.
It's already
It is, yeah.
established.
Exactly.
You know, you remove Maleficent and Pete from this game, literally nothing changes.
Yeah.
I would argue you could remove half of the characters from these games and nothing would change.
Yeah,
Characters have to have an impact on a story,
Just
or they're not worth it.
just take out the entire Frozen world.
I say
Nothing
they
else will
shoved all of
change.
their main storyline way at the end. They
Yeah.
did sprinkle some stuff here and there, but a lot
A
of it
little
was
bit.
still just useless. This just, hey, how do we do this thing? I don't know.
Yep.
And then
Yep.
that was the storyline up until they dumped it all out.
Yada yadaing them. Let's go to the world of darkness. Nope. Let's go to the world of darkness. Nope.
Nope.
Let's go to the world of darkness. Nope.
Okay,
let's
I'm
to the
gonna go
world of
anyway.
darkness. Okay.
Okay.
How do we
She's
get
already
there?
happened.
Oh, you're just gonna unlock a portal, which they can't do over there, even though they're both way better than you.
Yeah, right. That's fine.
You know, yeah. It just writing sloppy pieces missing. I wish I could.
Disappointing.
Just disappointing. And you know, I know there's nostalgia glasses. You know, everyone has them, or you got to play all the games. You don't. You know, I watched hours and hours to prepare for this.
Yeah.
I made my fiance sit through cutscenes from every other game, so we had everything going into it. And somehow, it over-explains and under-explains itself.
Yeah.
Like-
Like, there's some parts where if you have never played any of the other games or experienced any other, you would have no idea what's going on. And then there's other scenes where it overly explained, just exposition exploding
90%
out.
of the dialogue is just exposition.
Yes.
It's not character growth. It's not character interaction. It's just, here's what's going on. We know you just watched it happen, but let us explain it for you.
In fact, there was one cutscene that was literally the same cutscene from a previous game.
Yeah.
If I could remember it. Oh,
Yeah.
man.
It was the one with Yinsid and near the very, very beginning.
Oh yeah, no, well that wasn't exactly the same. Like the very beginning one with Yensid, and he's like,
Still,
you need to
it
go
was-
do
You
this
mean
stuff.
Kingdom
That was in
Hearts
the
2.9?
2.9.
that was
Oh my word.
that was in the tech demo, 0.8 or whatever they or
Okay,
1.8 whatever
well,
they released beforehand.
Anyway, but like Mick was saying, it's just explaining everything over and over again, and not not in a realistic way of how anybody would ever interact with somebody. It was
Yeah.
just
It
so
was
boring
bad.
to listen to and watch, and just painful.
Yep.
Disappointing.
Gummy ships.
I liked the exploration with the gummy ship. Did not like the gummy ship battles so much.
Yeah. They improved on the worst part of Kingdom Hearts, which is the gimme ships.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true.
I liked that it was open like that.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
I did not have the time nor have the willingness to go through and actually keep doing it or explore or go anywhere with that.
I made a single ship.
Yep.
I called it the Dick Ship.
Of course.
It was shaped like a dick.
Yep.
And then I never did anything with it also, so.
Yep.
Yeah.
I found out I could bypass the boss on the way to the Frozen World. I did, and Yep. After failing to beat it twice, I was like, what if I go around?
That's great.
Literally,
And guess what?
around.
It worked! Which I love, but also I hate. Because what?
Did anyone test this?
Right? It's just like, I can just go around this giant boss that
I don't think that was supposed to happen, but oh well.
Things slip
Okay.
through the cracks. Whatever, it happens.
Whatever, let's
Exactly.
move on. Alright.
Literally just cut the corner.
Just all the gummy ship stuff they made you do before you got to the Keyblade Grave. I'm like, I just want to get to my story stuff. Why did you let me breeze through Pirates of the Caribbean and San Francisco and hold me up here? Stop it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Sora died.
Oh yeah, Sora dies at the end, guys.
That was all. Oh, well, yeah, the second time he dies.
The second time.
Yeah, so
He dies
The
twice.
first
Whoops.
he
time-
does. He
in-
literally
in-
dies twice. So after
Yeah.
Kyrie proves herself useless,
Again.
gets shattered into a million pieces.
I love that you have young Xehanort and I think Mickey also telling Sora, hey, you can't keep doing that. You know, you got to pay for that eventually. He's like, nah, it's cool. I got it.
Yeah.
And he just gets himself Thanos.
Yeah, he brings himself back at one point. You have to collect like a million Soras. Which is
Yeah.
a really
Oh,
cool
yeah.
world and really like
oh yeah, I
visually
wish they had
gorgeous.
expanded on that. That
But
would
like
I had
was like,
no idea what that,
I-
Cherubi or whatever it was.
What?
I have no
I
idea.
don't
no, but
Chirithy or something. I don't know.
Whatever.
I don't know where she's from at
Plushy
all.
thing?
She's
I
just
have no idea.
she's
But
a
it was
dream eater,
adorable.
but
She's from the mobile game. 'Cause
Oh,
I
is she?
downloaded it and played it for 5 minutes, and then was like,
see,
I'm
I
done
have
with this.
I have no patience for mobile games.
No, I played it for 5 minutes. I was like, I want a secret Keyblade, but this is not worth it.
Yeah.
no.
You know, and you can't force people to play a mobile game to get part of the story for a AAA game.
No,
that's,
no.
That's
That's
just
ridiculous.
bad.
That's
That's bad,
ridiculous.
guys.
Selfish.
What
So
are we
that
doing?
the whole sequence with him putting himself back together and stuff, it didn't make any sense. It was
No.
beautifully visual.
Oh yeah, I mean it was.
Beautiful visuals. It was super
I
cool.
enjoyed watching.
I wanted to collect all the Soras, but I'm not going to.
No, I'm just gonna collect what I need to be done.
Yeah.
To collect like 118 of them. It was tedious.
And then you come back, okay, and then you fight
Time
Xehanort, and we didn't even really get into this story element because it was just so all over the place. And in the end, Xehanort's not a bad guy? Question
No.
He's not a
So
bad guy.
Mark
They-
Hamill shows up to hug him, and everything's okay.
they do this bit at the end where he's he's defeated and stuff. He's like, oh man, I just wanted to get rid of all the darkness, guys. I just wanted to do that.
Like,
It's like, no, don't
How
be a
on
good
earth?
guy now. Be unrepentantly evil like you were before. What are you doing?
How on earth is your plan to get rid of all the dark? What? Someone has to step up and lead.
Like, oh buddy.
I mean, sure, that's a good villain motivation, but how does that make you a good guy? What?
Now,
I
speaking
was so
on
confused.
Master Xehanort a bit, I have to
Yeah.
interrupt this thought train.
Derail it.
Derail it completely because I got to get into voice acting. Now I know that no one can ever replace the late great Leonard Nimoy.
Yeah.
I get that. That's fine. While I know that Rutger Hauer had a good voice for it,
yes.
the accent was not.
Where did that even come from?
It was a little bit off-putting.
Does he?
I don't know if that's Rutger Hauer's actual accent or not. I probably should have looked into
He's
this
a
before,
voice
but
actor. He
he is
should
a
be
voice
able to
actor.
get-
He should be able to do
I
a
mean-
different accent.
Yeah.
But he did not. And that's confusing.
It's very jarring, especially if
Yeah.
you just.
Actually, I don't know if he's like an
just
actual
listen to
voice
it.
actor, though.
I don't know. He's then get
He's an
someone
actor.
who is
But yeah,
right. You can afford it.
get someone with that
Excuse
unambiguously evil voice
Yeah.
to just not do an accent.
Yeah.
It was distracting. It's a small thing, but it's
It
very
takes away.
noticeable.
It takes away.
It does. It did.
You know, and it,
But he did a great job, as great
Yeah.
as can be expected.
I don't know. So at the end, they beat him, and everyone's alive and everyone's fine, even people who aren't.
Yeah.
But Kyrie's gone.
She got whacked into unreality.
Yeah, so Sora's like, I have to go save her. And you're like, okay, how and what? Okay, sure.
No, don't worry about it.
But then apparently he just decides, the universe can't have us both be in the same place at once. So I'm going to go save her. And so we get this cool shot of everyone on the beach, and everyone's alive, and everyone's a person, including Roxas and Xion.
They got bodies back. It's
which cool. I love all those characters. I just don't understand how they can exist.
I didn't play 358 over 2 days, so I don't care about Xion.
Yeah, Xion is whatever. It doesn't make sense for them to exist because Xion literally had to die to bring Sora back, and so did Roxas.
Yeah,
that doesn't make sense. That's fine. Okay, cool. Everyone's happy. Everyone's just chilling out. I'll just whatever. Maybe there's something that explains it. Okay. Oh look, Kyrie and Sora are sitting on a tree together. Oh, he saved her. Which how?
Thanos.
We just skipped that.
Yeah.
It's this big impactful thing. We just skip it. Oh, wait, Sora, what are you doing? Why are you fading out
away?
Of existence? Why is Kyrie crying? What? I'm sorry. What?
We did sort of allude to that, I guess. Like I said before,
when they were like,
young
hey,
Xehanort
Sora,
and Ricky were like, you
can't
keep doing that, dude.
Yeah,
you might not make it back.
Give me some explanation for what he did to bring her back.
So, did you see the bonus scene
of the video game world?
Yeah. Why is Sora and Riku waking up in Virum Run? I think is what it was called.
I don't know.
What is this supposed to be a teaser for the next game, or just something stupid?
Is it the real world? Like.
Is the video game inside of the Toy Story world the real world now?
Wait, is all of Kingdom Hearts 3 just a dream, and now we're getting into actual Kingdom Hearts 3?
It's definitely in Virum Run, because the scene's title is Yozora.
Yeah, I don't know what they're getting at with that. I'm
anyway,
sure they'll explain.
Look out for Sora in Final Fantasy 16, Virum Run.
Yeah, they've set things up for later, and with the Keyblade Masters and Zigbar being whatever Zigbar is and all that.
Yeah.
And it's just... It's so poorly done with this game, and the writing's so bad that I don't care.
We're not hyped for it like we were after Kingdom Hearts 2.
We spent 15 years waiting for Kingdom Hearts 3.
I cared so very little for everything in Union Cross. I didn't even attempt to watch all the cutscenes for it that were in the stuff that came with all the other games. I would have preferred Zigbar just keep being Zigbar or Braig, and then he has Xehanort's Keyblade or whatever.
Sure.
And it's like, yeah, I get to be big evil guy still.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just... I mean, I'm interested in the pre-Keyblade Wars and all that. And whatever's going on there. It's an interesting story that I think they failed to set up properly and execute. And it really... I think it hurt itself in this game because the writing was just so sloppy and lazy with this game. And you can get past the writing if you at least have good editing and good acting. And they didn't.
No.
You can make up for it if people just put their heart and souls into the acting and the editing, and it at least flows. And it just didn't. The writing failed, the acting failed, the editing, it just all compiled. It was painful, it was exhausting. It was not an experience that you go, wow, I can't wait to do that again. It was an experience where you're like, I cannot wait for this to be over.
Happy
but at least we finally wrapped it up.
At least it's over. And that's... I hate saying that about a Kingdom Hearts game.
I do too.
And it wasn't even satisfying how they wrapped it up.
It wasn't. After years and years. And like I said before, and I keep saying this, nostalgia glasses are in effect, of course.
Yeah.
Yes.
But when my fiance, who didn't grow up on the games and plays them through with me, has the same reaction after playing them through the previous summer and just feels dissatisfied and stuff, that tells you that it's not just the nostalgia.
No.
You know, I'm pretty good at separating, and that just confirms it. It's just like, such a waste. And it's, there's good things about it, sure. And maybe next time around we don't have to go through development hell and it ends up better, but
maybe they won't take a decade to make the next one.
Well, maybe hopefully they don't switch from Unreal to something else.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I hope the next one's better, but I'm probably not going to buy it after this one. I don't understand how this one got the reviews it did.
Oh, Lord, yeah.
Nostalgia glasses.
I mean, yeah, but like video game critics are so freaking harsh. How... It just boggles my mind.
You know what? Yeah, you're right, actually.
It boggles my mind.
Maybe if it was a full-on remake of Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, it would have gotten shit on real hard.
Yeah.
But I mean, now we're finished with it. It's not a remake; it's a continuation. Yes, cool. I'm hyped. That's that tends to be what I think the thought process was on those reviews.
Yeah.
Yep. No, I mean, Kingdom Hearts 2 is best game in my opinion. Burst Spice Fleet's phenomenal. Kingdom Hearts 2 will remain the best Kingdom Hearts in my
close second to Birth by Sleep for me.
I mean, it just feels so completely different.
Yeah.
There's heart in it.
Yeah.
All the way
Heart
through.
darkness.
And characters mature and just it. Yeah.
Full and entertaining worlds to explore and go all around.
Yeah.
I think we're wrapping up. Would you like to plug your Patreon and book thing?
I mean, sure. If you're
go ahead, plug that, man.
So if you, I don't know how to. Well, basically, my name's they call me Mick. Mick is my name. I go by a writer nickname online, Mikel Melwasul.
That's how you say it. I didn't want to say
it. Well, it's spelled
Mikel.
Yep, that's my Michael part.
Mil.
I can't remember the rest.
I'm going to have a link in the description for sure.
But I'm writing a fantasy epic. Actually, is how to qualify it because of the length it's at. It's going to be a series. I'm working on the first book now. I actually have a Patreon where I release 2 chapters a month for like $3 a month to read both chapters, and there's different levels and tiers. But it's basically takes place in a fantasy world where creatures like from Lord of the Rings, so the Fae, elves, dwarves, orcs, and that used to exist in our world. And tens of thousands of years ago, they were pulled out of our world to avoid a cataclysmic flood. And they haven't been in our world for the last hundreds of thousands of years. And then that spell wears off in an event called the Shattering, where the sky breaks and they all come popping back into our world. And their return results in the death of most of humanity.
Oh, shit.
And so we follow the character Peter Blair and other characters who are now in a world where not only is most of humanity dead, but now there's magic and there's these creatures that exist and have infiltrated every part of our society. And we have to figure out how to survive with no knowledge and no help. Except for one small little dwarven lady who's been with humanity for a long time, who's been working behind the scenes to do some interesting stuff. And so it's about this small town and how it grows and progresses to be able to survive in this new world. And humanity needs to struggle to become relevant and continue existing when there's all this stuff around them going on. So that's the basic kind of concept. And I'm really enjoying it. It's about halfway done or so. Like I said, I release stuff online. Once it's done, I'll be looking for a publisher and stuff, but like my first 50 subscribers, I average about 40, kind of fluctuates a little bit, because all my readers are poor college kids who can only support it for so long, but they like reading it, so they help. And I don't want people to support that can't afford to. But I was working on it so much, I had to have some sort of income for the amount of time I'm putting into it.
Yeah.
So all my subscribers that join in before it's finished and stay with me till it's finished are going to get their own version of the book when it goes into publishing, with a special thank you and a signing and special publishing and all that. So I enjoy writing it. My readers enjoy reading it. Check it out if it sounds like something that would interest you. If you like any of my opinions with this and thoughts on writing, that's where my perspective comes from.
I'll have a link in the description to
it.
I've read the first chapter myself. I'm interested.
I have not had time, as I don't have a life at the moment.
She's a fancy accountant who can barely has time to record with me anymore.
But I plan to in May.
Most people plan to when it's done. Which, I mean, I can't blame people for. But the people who are reading it get to say, I got to read the version of it before it went into publishing. So if it does ever...
I got to see all the editing errors.
Exactly. Yeah, there's plenty of those for sure. Yeah. But if it ever does go anywhere, whenever I take it to a publisher, it's going to have changes made.
Of course.
Yeah. So some people are going to be able to say, I got to read it before it got changed.
Well, remember us when you get rich and famous off of that.
How I intend to. It's going to be a lot of fun. But yeah. Thanks for having me, guys. I really enjoyed this conversation.
Thanks for coming, man.
Thanks for coming. We appreciate it.
As depressing as it kind of wrapped up.
Yeah, a little bit.
That's just the nature of what we're talking about. So, yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Thanks.
Yep.
All right, everyone. Thanks for listening.
Thank you for watching / listening.
If you stayed for the near hour and a half this recording went on, thanks very much.
We'll edit it down. It's fine.
Well... No, I won't, actually.
This is all that good.
This is all pretty straightforward discussion here.
That's fair.
And I mean, it's just a discussion type podcast deal, even.
If you disagree, feel free to.
Oh, please argue in the comments. I would love to argue with you.
So we can make a second video about how wrong you are.
Yeah.
I'll do it.
Don't test us.
All right, everyone. Thank you. Have a good day.